Hello, everyone. This is criminal profiler Pat Brown. And the Karen Reed trial is over, the second Karen Reed trial, and the jury is out now. They haven't come to a verdict at the end of this Friday. And a lot of people have asked me why I haven't commented on the whole second trial, why I'm not analyzing every bit of it. When am I going to speak up? Because surely as a profiler, I can now see that Karen Reed is innocent. And it's always amuses me because there are people who say, I always thought you were a good profiler until this case when you said you believe that Karen Reed is guilty and therefore clearly you are incompetent. As is Jennifer Coffindaffer from the FBI. She believes that Karen Reed is guilty. She's incompetent. Wendy Murphy, a prosecutor, retired prosecutor who I've worked with before doing a Nancy Grace show. Always respected her. Oh, she's incompetent. What is it? The Prosecutors Podcast, they're incompetent. Oh, and if we're not incompetent, it's because we've been paid off by those folks in Boston, part of that conspiracy. We're part of the conspiracy. Well, folks, I've never been to Boston. I've never talked to anybody from Boston. So we're not being paid off. We are looking at a thing called evidence. All right. So I've gotten extraordinarily frustrated over the fact that lay people, who some of them are very smart, and yes, some of them can look at the evidence that's been presented and are pretty rational about it. But there's a whole lot of other people who think because they've watched a trial on television and listened to Turtle Boy and listen to the Free Karen Reed people, and they believe that, oh yes, I understand this evidence, and therefore, since I understand this evidence as a lay person, how can you, Pat Brown and Jennifer Coffindaffer and Wendy Murphy and the Prosecutors Podcast and the others, how could you possibly think that she was guilty? And it just frustrates me because who do you all think you are, in the sense that you have not studied criminology, you have not studied crime scene analysis, you have not studied behavioral analysis, you have not done any of these things in your lifetime. Now, of course, defense attorneys will come out, of course, will say she's innocent, and they'll say, well, we have studied. Yeah, but you're a defense attorney, so we'll take that with a grain of salt. And I'm not saying that some of you haven't learned a lot, but the problem is this belief that 100% know the truth. And if anybody conflicts with your truth, then they're incompetent. Even as professionals who've been working in the field for 2 to 3 decades. Now, my concern about this whole thing is that these are the same people that are on the jury. Once again, I will say I am opposed to the civilian jury system. I believe in a professional jury system. Why? Because even the prosecutor and the defense attorneys will always say it's a crapshoot. Well, justice should never be a crapshoot. That's ridiculous. If you shouldn't be rolling the dice and, well, I don't know what they're going to come up with. I don't know if they're going to find her guilty or not guilty. I don't know if there's 1 out of that 12 will say she didn't do it when the evidence says she did. This to me is nonsense. This is not how you do justice system. You shouldn't have a case that has to, well, first of all, this is now the second trial. You've had massive interference with the jury system, with all the garbage on the internet, with the people protesting outside. Those poor people, let me say poor people, those people who are in there now, believe me, I'm not against them. I think, my God, they have sat through this whole thing under the stress that of all these people hounding them. You better find her innocent. You better find her innocent. Those poor people who have been, in my opinion, forced into forced labor, because you can try to get out of jury duty, and there's easy ways to get out of it if you just got, clever little methodologies. But a good, honest citizen may not try those things because they will just do what they think they have to do. And the government says you have to go there. You're unpaid, or you're paid so little it's ridiculous. You have to go away from your family, go away from your work. You sometimes have to be sequestered. You have to put up all the hell And you've got to look at pictures that a lot of times crime scene photos, which are horrendous and cause the poor jurors to have PTSD the rest of their lives. They aren't even trained for this stuff. They've had zero education in anything. They have two attorneys up there manipulating the heck out of them and bringing experts who disagree with each other, meaning one of them is probably lying. And they who have no education in this field are supposed to know who's telling the truth. They're supposed to be above, essentially, because of they're making the final decision. They have to be above the experts, above their attorneys to make the final life and death decision. That's insane when you had no training. And it's not fair to the jurors to be put in that position. And it's, my opinion, it's just not a justice system. That's why I go for a professional jury system, which a lot of people think, oh, you're all going to be paid off and all that stuff. But there are methodologies to achieve that concept where there will be trained people in the jury box. And they would be able to handle what goes on, to be paid to be there. And they will have the experience to know what the evidence actually says. Now, it's not going to be a perfect system, but I have to think it's better than, oh, we're going to, you never know. It's like rolling the dice. This is justice. It shouldn't be rolling the dice. John O'Keefe was murdered, killed. He deserves justice. And if she's innocent, she deserves justice too. So the system should work where the what is presented is the evidence, and what is analyzed is the people who are analyzing the evidence have understanding of the evidence and can come up with the proper conclusion. Now, again, there can always be a mistake. There can always be not perfect, but rolling the dice is ridiculous. Now, taking it from there, let's talk about, I'm not going to go into every piece of evidence in this case. I said I wouldn't go there again, and I'm not. But I want to look at Occam's razor in this, because this is one of these cases where if there hadn't been this kind of publicity and this kind of insane conspiracy crap going on, this case would have been pretty open and shut, and it probably would have been taken care of very quickly. But we got the problem with all this stuff. This exploded into mountains of nonsense. So let's take a look at Occam's theory. So one is going to be Karen Reed, and the other is going to be whomever. The other person is whoever killed from the house, of course, killed John O'Keefe after he went into the house. He was murdered. And then the conspiracy theory grew. So we're talking about this compared to this. Okay. The last person to see John O'Keefe alive, Karen Reed. She says he got out of the car, he's got his drink in his hand, and she changes her story, mind you. But she did ask this question, could I have clipped him? Well, if you clipped him, he didn't go into the house. So he didn't go into the house, according to Karen Reed. So she was the last person to see him. And she was also the person who believed she may have hit him with her vehicle. And considering that he was laying in the lawn, which is where you would be laying if you were hit with a vehicle, still with the glass, or the evidence from the taillight in your clothing, the glass from your in your face, which she even says she pulled out, your phone. Occam's razor said he never went into the house. But okay, let's look at the other side. Let's say in her drunk, angry state that she was furious with him and backed up and whacked him. Okay, ignoring the fact that, okay, somehow he didn't die there and he went ahead into the house and she went on her way. And we'll ignore all her behaviors all night long and everything she said. Again, we'll just leave that alone for now. Let's go to the conspiracy. So John O'Keefe goes into the house. And while he's in the house, for reasons unknown, one of the persons in the house, most likely according to the defense, another police officer, another law enforcement officer, kills him, murders him. Motive? Well, there isn't one. She, on the other hand, going back to her, but hey, she, on the other hand, was angry as heck, furious with him, and there's evidence of all of this right before he got essentially hit. goes into the house, let's say he did, there's no motive. Nobody had any reason to kill their fellow police officer. Oh, what is it? Oh, well, one of them was, they were having this text that she was the aggressor. The other guy's going, I don't know about you. Are you broken up with this guy? I mean, are you broken up with John? Nothing happened there. The worst that could have happened if John went into the house is that guy would say to him, your girlfriend's been texting me. You might want to consider dumping her. Are you guys broken up? Should I hook up with her? Because are you broken up? Because I'm a little confused. That would be the worst thing that would happen. You think a fellow police officer is going to kill another fellow police officer over her? Don't think so. But supposedly this is what happens. And the dog, Chloe, somehow also attacks him for reasons, again, unknown. But it's just his arm, although it's never been proven the dog did anything to his arm. So, but let's say the dog did grab his arm. So what? Wouldn't they just pull the dog off and say, geez, sorry, John. Man, come over here. Let's get that washed up. No, instead they kill John. What? So, okay, let's say there was some motive to kill John which nobody knows of. And then this seasoned police officer, a law enforcement person who's been in law enforcement for a really long time, says, oh my God, I've killed him. Hey guys, y'all shut up now. And everybody just goes along with it because, I don't know, they're friends with John, but hey, who cares? Now he's dead. We'll just protect the other guy. Help me dump him out in the lawn. My front lawn. That'll be smart. I'm so stupid. With all my years of law enforcement, I don't know I should take him away from my house, have him look like he was walking down the street and got hit by a car down the street, or put him by the railroad tracks or whatever the hell. But no, I'm going to put him right on my front lawn. Oh, because, yes, I know that she was supposed to drop him off. We didn't even see her do it, but we're going to somehow decide that since we'll just make it look like his girlfriend did it. So we better find her car, smash up her taillight. Or unless she just did it. Oh my God, she already did it for us. How great. Let's collect some pieces. Now let's rush back out there and throw those pieces around him and pick up a piece of glass and stick it in his face. And then we'll all get everybody to cooperate, the EMTs and the medical examiner and every single person. We'll get every single person to cooperate in framing Karen Reed. Now, Occam's razor said, how stupid is this? And I'm not even getting into all the absolute evidence here. I'm just saying it's nonsensical. Occam's razor said everything points to Karen Reed. Her behaviors point to Karen Reed. Last person saw her is Karen Reed. The location of his body is Karen Reed. Everything is Karen Reed. Over here, the conspiracy theory is all nonsensical garbage. That is why Jennifer Coffindaffer, Wendy Murphy, Prosecutors Podcast, I don't know who else. I think everybody's still on the same page, that they're like, isn't it obvious? So is there reasonable doubt? No, there is not one shred of evidence that points to anybody else, not one shred. And every bit of the evidence points to Karen Reed. There is no reasonable doubt, period. And if you've got a big issue about the marks on his arm, and that's not reasonable doubt. You folks out there who think that you are good at analyzing do not understand the totality of evidence. The totality of evidence over here is this big. The totality of evidence here is non-existent, except you can't. Some people think that looks like dog bites or whatever, scrapes or whatever. And you can get experts on both sides to argue this. But the totality of the evidence is over here in mass quantity. That is why there is no reasonable doubt for me if I were on the jury, and for many other experts who, not defense attorneys, who would be on a jury. So if we're a professional jury, I think it would be a very short deliberation. But I feel sorry for this jury that's out there. They're going to do the best they can trying to figure it all out and trying not to make a mistake. Because this is the one time in their life they're ever going to have to do something like this, which is so difficult and outrageous. to have to sit through and try to understand. And they're coming in already knowing what's waiting for them on the outside, because the Karen Reed people, the free Karen Reed people, have been aggressive. They have stalked. They have harassed. They have tried to ruin the lives of people who did nothing wrong. And these poor jury, 12 people, are out there going, oh my God, if we find her guilty, what hell are we going to have to pay? They will find out who I am. They will come after me. They probably are terrified. I don't know how this trial could be considered a fair trial for the prosecution when this is the nonsense that has been going on. And there's no gag order. It's all out there in the public so that the insanity can continue. So do I hope that this jury is able to see the excellent case that was put on by the prosecution, especially this time around? Very excellent case. Do they see Occam's razor? Do they see where the evidence is that supports she is guilty and there is no big conspiracy theory? Do they see that? Are they able to come to their decision, to their verdict, without massive fear of the public? And I don't know. I think that is exactly what it's going to be: a gamble, a roll of the dice. And that is not the way justice should be. Those are my thoughts on this. I hope I never have to speak on this case again, but I've been trying to avoid it, but I'm just very frustrated with the anger and the rage that all these free Karen Reed people have. It's insane. It's that you don't even know these two people, and yet you have conjured up massive rage. I think you need something to do better with your life, perhaps. Anyway, those are my thoughts. If you're new to the channel, please do like and subscribe. And I'll keep my fingers crossed on the jury. And I shouldn't have to cross my fingers for a jury verdict. I shouldn't have to.